What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital. We're here with Vince Arachi, Executive Chairman and Founder at Minehub Technologies, along with our now Star Boostman, President and CEO. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Great, Aaron. Thank you for having us.
Yes, definitely. So Minehub is an enterprise platform that digitalizes and streamlines manual and paper-based processes and connects the entire metals and mining supply chain. Can you tell us a bit more about the company?
Yeah, sure, of course. And indeed, thanks for having us, Aaron, for the opportunity to present Minehub. So the company was formed early 2018 in Vancouver, and it's based on an understanding of the founders of how emerging blockchain technology could help drive digitalization in mining and metal supply chain. So that first year, 2018, was forming a syndicate of companies around the project, involved some world-class companies like Wheaton Precious, Gold Corp, but also ING Bank and Ocean Partners, and then developing that idea to a concept level and also raise initial funding. 2019 was much more about developing the first release and starting engagement with key future partners like BHP, whilst we were starting to road test with the existing partners. 2020 was about really road testing that platform, refining the value proposition, user experience, and taking it to commercial release. And some of that testing and piloting was actually done publicly together with the likes of BHP and Vale and Baowu and others. That gave us the learning really to finalize that commercial release, which we deployed in the end of last year. And 2021 has really been about hardening the platform, starting onboarding our users, and building out commercial teams, especially in key markets in Asia, like especially China and Japan. So we are already present globally now, and we have experience to put something on the ground in those key markets.
Awesome. It's been a busy couple of years for you guys. So why did the company decide to focus on mining and metals industry initially, and how will your technology help companies in the space?
I guess I'll start with that one. Going back a number of years, my personal involvement for some time now has been in the mining and metal space. That's my day job. I'm CEO of a copper development company, and I've always loved technology. Participated in that sector in previous lives, and years ago when the blockchain technology started to become more prominent, and obviously was highlighted by cryptos years ago, I was intrigued by it. And our space, the mining and metals industry, is a laggard with respect to adopting technological innovation. It's always needed to advance in that, and really just kind of looking at what was happening in the space, and again with blockchain, and seeing how other sectors or other industries were starting to adopt it, and the lower hanging fruit in whether it be banking or healthcare or energy, started to kind of put out these concepts and ideas and trials with respect to how they could utilize the underlying technology. And really, it just kind of started from there, thinking, hey, this is something that we can use in the mining and metal space. And it kind of the concept was born really around that. There was no one else doing it. No one else was bringing it to this sector. And again, that's how we were kind of the idea was born.
Awesome. So what fueled Minehub's decision to enter the public markets now?
The decision was made on multiple fronts. It's number one, it's an exciting time with tech stocks and the digitizing of everything. The speed and the velocity of this movement was driven by COVID, where people were forced to work from home. Processes that required more personal interactions or manual, processes needed to happen remotely now, and therefore digitally, and become streamlined. So, that was something that's getting a lot of attention in the public markets. So that was one driver. The other one is that we are at a phase in our growth cycle or life cycle where we're poised to make very significant strides, which we think the public markets will find exciting, and shareholders will be rewarded, in this public environment. And third, really, access to capital for opportunities to rapidly expand our business, and for potential and accretive M&A opportunities that we may identify. So, being public now, lends itself to all of those.
Definitely. So why is the company's ESG carbon emissions tracking system such an exciting and important development?
I think in general, ESG compliance and emissions reporting, they're two of the big themes of our age. So we want to make sure that our kids and grandkids, they still have a place to live in. And it's for that reason, it's also a massive theme for corporates as a consequence, with strong financial penalties in the form of cost of capital, etc., especially in supply chains, especially in mining and metals. It's expensive, this compliance and reporting. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So for instance, in Europe, we have car companies that need to prove the ESG footprint of the full upstream supply chain of the battery that's in the electric vehicle that they sell. So they need to make sure that there's no child labor or slavery involved in mining the cobalt, but also they need to know exactly how many emissions have been put into the atmosphere during the production, refining, shipping, etc. of the metals. How are they going to prove that? They need to have access to all the parties that have been involved in moving and processing these minerals from mine to market. But another example is carbon emissions accounting. So more and more companies, they need to account and report on not just their own emissions, but also of those of their customers and suppliers as they're involved in processing or shipping the materials that they buy and sell. So for instance, if a mining company sells iron ore to a steel mill, the mining company needs to account and report on how many emissions the mill produced while processing the specific amount of iron ore they bought from the mining company, and how many emissions the vessel produced while carrying the iron ore from the load port to this port. Now, these are so-called Scope 3 emissions. That's expensive to account for and difficult to get for just one customer. But if you imagine some of these companies have like tens of thousands of customers and suppliers, accounting for all that is a massive undertaking, if not impossible, right? And especially because emissions intensity, they change regularly per supplier, per customer, and you need to adjust for it. So it's a real-time accounting nightmare. And we're building a solution for actually both of these challenges, which is why it's so exciting. We help companies to automate their ability to prove, independently certify, but also verify compliance with ESG requirements in their supply chains. And we're helping companies to automate the capture, the auditing, as well as the reporting of their Scope 3 emissions. Reporting them, basically two massive pain points, and really at a transaction level. It's not just going to solve, I guess, for a massive headache for our users, but it will also directly contribute to promoting sustainable supply chains and carbon neutrality.
Very interesting. So what other market segments is Minehub's core technology able to adapt to?
The core platform, and so the design of the solutions that we build, the core platform and some of the applications, they're commodity and product agnostic. So that means we can use it for other bulk ship commodities, or we can use it for container ship products, pretty much as is. It's about visibility, digitalization of these supply chains. In theory, we can enter any market, but in reality, of course, we need to focus and prioritize our resources. So a logical next step is looking at these products that our mining and metals customers are also involved in. So for mining companies, this means their upstream supply chain. So they, for instance, equipment, spare parts, tires, explosive, chemicals, etc. They also ship that in a currently and manage the process in an archaic way with limited visibility. But also some of the traders that we work with, they're active in other commodities like coffee or petroleum products. We have a strong focus on mining and metal supply chains, but an opportunity to go sideways into many different areas. But we will go where our customers and users want us to go, or where we come across a not to be missed opportunity.
Definitely. So Minehub is partnered with the largest mining companies in the world, as well as massive financial institutions and tech companies. Can you tell us more about those collaborations?
Yeah, I can, I guess Arnoud and I can tackle this one together. I guess what's important here for people to understand is that going back to when we started this venture, it was important for us to, build something that industry wanted, that they would use, that they would need. And so we didn't want to guess at that. And right from the get-go, right from the beginning, We built this, we put together a collaboration or a small consortium of people within the industry and the corner points of the industry. And those original, the original syndicate, if you will, was companies like Gold Corp and Wheaton Precious Metals and ING Bank. And you know, we brought them in as a focus group, if you will, and with IBM as kind of a strategic development partner. Literally, everybody sat around the room and told us what they would like, what they thought would help their business, and that was how we started building the Minehub platform. And over the years, that morphed into different developments within the platform, but also with different companies coming on board and almost doing the same thing, if you will. And you'll see that there's press releases out with likes of BHPs and Valets, and those are announcements that we've made. And all these companies look at what we're doing and they get involved with us and actually, because they want something like this, they're helping us continuously enhance or build additional features or continues to tell us. And that's, so the message here is that what we're building is by industry for industry. We're not guessing at this. And that's going to continue. It'll continue for a long time, because what we continue to see when we step into the rooms with these guys is, hey, can you do this? Can you build additional things? And sure, we can. And that's going to, I think that's going to result in almost like partnership opportunities when we identify specific applications or new ventures that we're going to be building with industry partners that will all be part of the Minehub platform moving forward.
Awesome. So your leadership team has vast experience in the mining industry, in addition to other industries. How do your key members enhance the company?
Well, if you think about it, the mission that we're on is not so simple. We're building new digital infrastructure for some of the most critical supply chains on the planet. Being iron ore, being copper, particularly with the energy transition, pushing the industry that way. So, if it had been simple, we would have done it. It would have been done before. The barrier to entry is basically, it's not just financial. I mean, we spent a significant amount of money getting here, but the barrier to entry is also around. It requires a combination of special skills in technology, in industry, finance, law, product management, execution, customer success, digital transformation, etc. And that's the skill set. Then it requires the credibility, the industry networks to be able to take it to senior management in some of these largest companies and basically articulate what we want to do and engage with them as partners, not just as users or customers. We need to operate and collaborate in different cultures. So it's the large corporates, also the small, medium enterprise, and of course countries. I mean, doing business in China, it's very different from doing business in Japan. It's very different from doing business in Europe. So we need to cater for that breadth of the industry and complexity of the industry. And our team combines all that. So if I look at our management teams, aside from me and Vince, so Matthijs, CEO, he has got extensive experience in digital transformation, execution. Hugh Haver-Thompson, he's a born entrepreneur. He's also co-founder of one of the first publicly traded enterprise blockchain companies in Canada. It was BTL Group a couple of years ago. Mariana, who has joined us, she's extensive experience in UX and product management. Echo has spent most of her career in ferrous metals in mainland China, based in Shanghai. She brings her network, her market experience, and so forth. Right, so we've got a pretty stellar team, and we don't have to do it ourselves as a management team. We've got a board that is extremely supportive. David Garofalo, CEO for Gold Corp, brings massive network and experience. Heike Truel, she comes from Anglo American. She had in the leadership team there, she looked after digital transformation amongst others. So yes, it's a seasoned team, well skilled. We cover the disciplines that we need, as well as the maturity and experience that we need to make this a success.
That sounds great. Where do you see Minehub in the next several months?
Oh, we're working at breakneck speed. So there's more press on some of the work that we're doing now with large customers that's still under wraps. I mean, I'm spending most of my mornings in Asia, where we're doing a couple of very exciting projects. We're also building out enterprise applications like for ESG, for trade finance, for some specific for the cost of trades market. And we'll announce it as those applications get launched and taken into use. We'll bring more visibility on some of the key partnerships that we're signing up with solution partners as well as market partners, and we'll ramp up our presence, and we'll be attending and speaking at a variety of really well-covered industry events over the course of the next couple of months. So I think we'll be highly visible.
Wonderful. So finally, how can investors get in touch with you or learn more information about the company?
Well, there's definitely our website as a starting point, and we've got I think we've got a movie on there which general reviews have been very positive in explaining what we're doing. We've got a pitch deck there that investors can read for more information. We've got a LinkedIn channel or just email.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to covering your story.
Thanks for having us, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell a stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below, along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.